Welcome. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps spread the word and helps make more of these videos possible. Hello, this is Karia again, and I have another video for you today. Today I will be doing a collab with Sadie Saves the Day, Denise from In Liquid Color, Eve from Eve's Vault, and of course me, Karia from ColoringKaria. And what I am doing today is we are doing a gift guide. We did one last year, and there'll be a link to that playlist up there. And we've had so much fun. We're going to do it again this year. So the order of things is the first set will be items under $25. Then items between $25 and $75, and then items over $75, and finally my little Oprah section of items that are just excessive but fun. So here we are. All right, so first item is these. These will retail for under $25 each. I think you may be able to get both for under $25. I think they're like around $10 a set. And both of these are new to the US. These are the replacement for the art grip line. This is the student crafter line, the Faber-Castell Goldfaber line, and this is one is a set of hexagonal watercolor pencils, and the other one is a set of round round drawing pencils, round coloring pencils. And let me do a little bit of play swatching with these. We're not going to swatch out all 12 colors, but I just want to show you guys a little bit of these, just a little bit of how they are. Let's see here. I'll do one here, and I'll move it closer when I do the liquefaction of these. But I just want to have these right here for now. And so these are the hexagonal watercolor pencils, and you can tell that these are hexagonal because you can tell that these are the watercolor pencils because for the Faber-Castell line, all of their water soluble colored pencils are they are going to be hexagonal. And it also says Aqua, and there isn't a brush in this one, and this one does have the color number but not the color name printed on them. And you can tell that these are not the artist lines that I normally use because these have blue packaging. You can see the blue packaging there, and that's the Goldfaber student line, and the artist line is in green packaging. So that's how you can tell the difference there. So that's these. And then these are the sort of the student version of the Polychromos. These are the oh, that's not the right color. These are the dry pencils, and I'm just gonna put them right here, and you'll see why in a minute when I get my water brush. I'm not sure why these are all in weird orders. You know, that's making me a little crazy, but they are all in a weird order. And then after this, we're going to do the next items on the list. So, no, that's not the right one. Sorry about that. You can see these are very smooth pencils, both the dry and the water-soluble version. And for the water-soluble version, all you got to do, let's get this open. All you got to do is just apply a little bit of water, and they dissolve really well. And you can see the color indexing on here. That's what I wanted to show you guys. This is the color indexing for the dry and water soluble pencils. You can see that for student grade pencils, these are actually quite nice quality for student grade pencils compared to a lot of other student grade pencils. I quite like these. So this is going to be my first recommendation on the list, and then we will get to the next items. I'm not going to do a full flip through of this, but I do want to show you this. This book is called Watercolor with Me in the Forest, and it's called In the Forest because there will be a second one coming out, I think, in 2019. So I'm super excited about that. I absolutely love this book. It is an instruction book. meets a coloring book meets an art journal. And so what it is on one side of the page you have instructions on how to do, what colors to use, and on the other side you have line art that you can color right in the book, or you can draw that same line art into whatever watercolor paper you would like to do. And we saw it briefly in passing, but I've done a page in this, and you can see this was done with some handmade paints, following the directions. There aren't step-by-step pictures, but overall the instructions are clear enough that you absolutely can go from having almost never used watercolor to making great pages. If you guys are interested in learning watercolor, or if you guys already do watercolor and you want some interesting practices, this is a great book. It's, like I said, it's like a cross between an art journal, an instruction book, and a watercolor book. It doesn't bog you down with color theory or anything like that. It just gets you like painting and creating watercolor really quickly, and I really appreciate the style in this book. So this is my second under 25 item, and this is my last under 25 item. I love this book. I might have mentioned it in the past. I'm not sure if I included it in last year's color along. I don't think I did, but you can see here why I love this book. You can use this is done with Cotman watercolor paints, and this is done with regular old colored pencil. This is done with the tricolored colored pencils, and you can see that together. This is a great coloring book. This tells a story, so from the first page to the last page there's a story. So it's called Search for the Lightbulb Burglar, and it's just a really fun coloring book that you can use pretty much any watercolor, marker, watercolor pencil. And because the pages are perforated, you can easily take them out and tape them down so that you can use, if you want to use alcohol markers with these, you totally could. And then because you took it out of the book and taped it down, then you wouldn't necessarily have the bleeding that you might, well, you would still have the bleeding, but it wouldn't affect the other pages in the book. So overall, really enjoy this coloring book. One of my favorite coloring books. All right, so we are now. All right, so next up is the Polychromos or Albrecht Dürer set of colored pencils from the 12, 24, 36, or 60 will all be under $75. And these are the Polychromos set of 36. Now I did change some of the colors. You can see on the side the colors that I changed. Those are the 3 colors that I took out and I replaced with other colors. But these are the Polychromos colored pencils. They have a round barrel that has the name, the light fast rating, and all that other info. I did a full review on these. I absolutely love my Polychromos pencils. They are my favorite dry colored pencils. They're just wonderful to use. You can see with the light color like a yellow what a strong pigmented color that is, even though it is still a light color. And then we go to, this is my favorite color. This is dark indigo, and I use this color a lot in both. You can see it how wonderfully it lays down both light and dark pigments. The next color here is going to be a burnt umber, I think, and that color is not included in the set. That's one of the colors that I added to the set, but I think it's well worth it to have this color in the set of 36. And these are the pencils that I recommend when when somebody asks me what is a good set of pencil, if that is your budget. If you're looking under $75, then these are probably my favorite set of pencils. All right. The next up is going to be the Blake Studio pencils, and I think these are my favorite set, and part of the reason why I like these, and I've included these here, is that you can get the full set, not just the set of 36, but the set of 72 for under $75. So if you wanted to spend under $75, but you wanted to have more color choices than were in the Polychromos set, then this is where I would definitely recommend that you go. Now I have the set of 36 here, and you can see the colors that are included in the set of 36. These are also round barrel. Now they are similar, the same as, or near as makes no difference to the Koh-i-Noor colored pencils. So that's something to keep in mind. And I've reviewed both these and the Polychromos and the Aquarelle color pencils, and there'll be a link up in that upper right hand corner to my review. Now the colors aren't exactly the same, but I wanted to show you that there is a difference between these two. The Polychromos is a little bit easier to lay down more color. They also layer a little bit better, but the Blick pencils are quite high quality, and they are actually very good quality. And if you wanted to go just a little bit less than the Polychromos, then you really can't go wrong with these. Especially if you don't do a lot of layers, then these are perfect. If you just do 1 or 2 layers, then these are really, really good pencils, especially that black. You can see that black is not quite as black as the Polychromos black, but again, if all you're doing is coloring or you're just learning, then it doesn't really make that much of a difference in terms of those two things. So that's what I wanted to share about those two pencils, and that's why I wanted to show them to you side by side and see what I'm doing here. All right, the next item on the list is the Daniel Smith Essentials set, which might be a little weird to have in a beginner coloring section. However, I think that these are wonderful paints and they come in a great set. What I like about this set is that it's quite affordable and you only need a little bit of paint and it goes a long way. And if you get the Essentials set plus the burnt umber and you're a beginner like me, that should last you plenty. And then you can see if you still want to keep using artist quality products or if you want to go with something less expensive. However, I found these to be a great value and very highly pigmented, as we're going to see once we swatch them. Now, the Essentials set just comes with the 6 colors, but I add a burnt umber to mix a wonderful, super easy gray. So this is the first color. This is Hansa Yellow Light, followed by New Gamboge. This color is quinacridone. Oh, I'm sorry. This color is Spiral Scarlet is what this one is. And then the next one is Quinacridone Rose, followed by French Ultramarine, and lastly, Phthalo Green Blue shade. But overall, this is a wonderful beginner set, especially if you have a little bit of experience in watercolor. Like I said, this is the French Ultramarine. But you want something that's going to give you a lot of pigment. As you can see when you drop these off, there's just so much pigment there, and that makes it really easier to use. And the other thing that I like about using artist quality materials is sometimes with student grade materials, I found myself fighting and I wasn't sure if it was my problem or the materials problems. So what I find when I'm using something like Daniel Smith is that I know that's the burnt umber, so that I know, you know, if there's a problem, I know that it's me and it's not the materials, because the materials always perform really well. And then the next thing that you're going to see here is you're going to see a little bit of this gray that I mixed. And it's a wonderful way to mix a variety of grays, super easy. And you can use those for shadows, for all sorts of things. And I find that burnt umber and ultramarine to be a great gray to use. Next up is the Caran limited edition set of 60 colored pencils to celebrate their 30th anniversary of the Super Color line. So there's 2 different versions of these. Both of these I think are over $75. This is the wood box set, which has the 30 limited edition colors plus 30 colors from their regular line. But there's also another version that has just the 30 limited edition colored in a metal tin. So as I said, this celebrates their 30-year anniversary, and I just wanted to show you that it is a little bit of a larger wood box. It does have 2 trays of 30 pencils each. There's this the top tray, which is totally removable, and the bottom tray, which is actually just an indentation and is not removable. The limited edition colors and the regular colors are all mixed in together, but you can tell them apart. The limited edition colors say limited edition on there, whereas the traditional colors like this one, you can see the traditional colors up top is that top brown, have a barcode, and the other ones, they say limited edition. So that's how you can tell the difference between the 2 pencils, but they are all mixed in together. So and next I'm going to just swatch a couple of the colors, but I do want to say that this is an artist line. I know some people have said that this is a student line. This is an artist line, but they do have the Museum Aquarelle, which we'll talk more about later. These pencils write in really smooth. I would say that they're probably like a little bit less pigmented and less intense than the Albrecht Dürer, just a pinch, and I don't think you would notice it unless you had them side by side. These are great pencils, and I love the fact that I was able to get this set because the only other set that I had was like a little sample set that I used for reviews, but now I have a nice full healthy collection of them, and I love this hinge. This is a wonderful hinge. Just the quality of the make of the box is really excellent. So anyway, I am using my Faber-Castell water brush, and you can see that they dissolve really quickly. You can see that these are great pigmented watercolor pencils, very high quality. There's a lot of color that comes out of there right away, so I highly recommend this set if you are interested in something super special. Speaking of super special, next up is we have two different brands of handmade watercolor paints, which if you haven't used are super fun. They tend to have either different pigments or just special versus commercial watercolor paints because they are handmade. There's going to be a little bit more variation than within a commercial brand. This is MCM by Christina, and I absolutely loved her paints for the granulation, for the texture, and for the interesting colors that she produces. MCM produces small batches of different colors, and she changes her colors often, which is different from this is Agallo, and Agallo has sort of a line of, at this point I think she said she had 40 colors altogether. I have not done a full review of this one, but I am working on the full review, and I can tell you from the time I've already spent on this that I absolutely love her paints. Very, very high quality paints on par with some of your fanciest brands. This is a landscape set, and I just want to show you the packaging because her packaging is really, really special, and she puts a lot of care into her product. I believe that this is gold ochre. The next one is Ercolán red, and I think that this set, I got two of the sets of 6. They are each under $75, but I think that you should really get 2 sets. So that's why I put them in the over 75 category. This is a really interesting color. This is zirconium blue, and it's sort of a color that you can use in place of cerulean blue, and I really love this color. I think in fact that this color doesn't come in this set, and I asked her to put it in that set. That's how much I love that color. This is a wonderful sap green, and it's probably my favorite sap green of all the sap greens I have. Next up is it looks like a black at first, right? This is the dioxazine violet, and dioxazine violet is already an intense color, but this is bonkers. Next up this is the last one. I also asked her to include this in the set. I don't know what's in there normally, but this is a burnt umber, which I love having in sets. Overall, the quality of her paints, as you can see, is amazing. They do sell out quickly. So if you're interested in her paints, she has them open stock as well as in various sets. Get on the list because they do sell out fast. All right, next up is the last of the over 75. This I think is actually in the $250 range. I got this from my wife because we celebrated our 10th anniversary this year that just passed. So this was my 10th anniversary gift. And this is the complete set of the Caran Museum Aquarelle watercolor pencils. I hope you can't hear Stewie in the background playing. And I have all the colors. If you are a fan of watercolor pencils, this really are the best. Now, I love the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, but these are better in a lot of ways. But they are more pigmented. They're a little bit easier to re-wet. And they also tell you on their website the pigment number, so that's amazing. Each pencil lists the light fast rating, the name, all that other stuff. And so I really love this set. Now, you don't have to get the full set to be over $75 because these pencils are so pricey. I believe all the sets are over $75. Maybe the set of 12 is not, but the sets are expensive. Now, this set comes with 1 graphite sketching pencil and 3 water-soluble graphite sketching pencils. I love using the water-soluble graphite pencils. The only thing I don't like about these is that they're a little bit darker than the Albrecht Dürers, so sometimes I struggle to get them erased, as well as 5 additional pencils, and that's how you get to the 80 numbers. Now, I did not like the fact that I had to tape the foam down myself. It does come with the foam, but the foam is not attached to it in the same way that it is for the cardboard box set, which I thought was really weird, and it is an issue that I tried to take up with them, but I never heard back. But overall, these pencils are just amazing. The presentation is wonderful. It's really worth every penny if you are a huge fan of watercolor pencils. As you guys know, I am. They don't look used at all, but I have been using them all year, and I just haven't sharpened them, which is not normally my style, but they're just so expensive that I've been a little bit too precious with them. And a lot of these pencils absolutely do need to be sharpened, but I just haven't made myself do it. But anyway, I do want to show you at this point just comparison to the super color that I swatched earlier, and I think I'm only going to do 2 or 3 colors just to show you the comparison between the two. The super color Caran d'Ache up above, and then the one that I'm doing now is the Museum Aquarelle, and you can see right away just how much pigment flows out of this just as soon as you attach water to it. It's really impressive, and you can really see where the price difference comes from. Everything about these pencils, from the core to the pigmentation to everything, is absolutely top quality. All right, next up, this is the over the top, and this is the Sennelier complete watercolor set. I got this set last fall. My wife had some unclaimed funds, and I did a whole video about that, and there'll be a link in the top right hand corner. But this is the way the packaging comes, and this is it. It's 100 tubes. It's 97 colors in the line. I think when I got mine there was an issue getting the opera rose, so the opera rose is not included here, but every other color is, as well as 3 additional colors. I believe it was a yellow, a red, and a blue. Now, I have used up my ultramarine deep because I love that color so much, and that's actually a brand new tube of ultramarine deep, and I've poured samples and sent them to various people all over the world, and that to me has been one of the best, most surprising, wonderful parts about this, is being able to pour samples out and send them to people. So that has been wonderful. Overall, I really love this set. I love the fact that the trays come out, so you can take them out and work with just one tray if you just want to work with a particular set of colors, as well as the colors themselves. These are absolute, by far, my favorite brand of paints. There are a lot of reasons why I love these paints, but one of the reasons that I love them is how wonderfully they glaze and layer, in addition to the colors being very pigmented. It's totally easy to do multiple layers, so I really appreciate that. This is the swatched out card with all the different colors all swatched out, and I did do a video, as I said earlier, with all the colors swatched out, and there'll be a link to that up there. But I wanted to show you all the colors that that I was able to swatch out. I don't remember how I got a hold of the opera rose, but I do have one, a half pan of the opera rose. But anyway, thank you guys so much for staying with me and watching all of this as I go through, and I suggest, this is all the poured paints, as I suggest all of my favorite things that I think would be great gifts this holiday season. I hope everyone has a great and wonderful holiday, and thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Have a great day. Bye.